Alright, this is going to be the tutorial with adjusting the dodge and burn um, and the Photoshop, and also with having to blend your photos with the colors in the background. So, as we're adding more photos to uh, your uh, your photo manipulations, there are going to be some inconsistencies with the colors of the photos and with the colors of your background. So generally, you want to have your photos match the same colors as the background colors. If you look at the background here, it's got more of a yellow, orange, purple tone, kind of like more like a late evening. Whereas in this picture here, it's kind of like more of it's kind of like more in like early morning, but there are some blues and yellows and oranges. It's not as late in the day, but more like kind of like closer to late, but not as late. So those are like little things you want to keep in mind of as you're adjusting the colors. So there's a really easy way to adjust the colors using the Photoshop. All you're going to do is you're going to create a new layer. So we're going to create a new layer. Or actually, we're going to duplicate the layer. So we're going to duplicate the layer that we cut out, and then we're going to change the overlay to color. So this is only going to change the colors of the photograph. It's not going to change anything else. So when we change the overlay to color, we're going to go to image and adjustments, and then also go to match color. Now, if you have like if this happens to your image where you go to image adjustments and they don't show up anywhere, the reason why is your image has turned into like a smart object. So in order to get off of the smart object, you would just click on the brush, use a regular brush, click on it, click OK, and this will rasterize the image to allow you to make those adjustments if needed. But it's only going to pop up if you ever have that lock on the bottom right of your image. So we're going to go to image adjustments, and we're going to click on this feature called match color. And when we click on match color, the source is going to be the Photoshop file that we're working on. So we're just working on this practice assignment that I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you guys to work on. And the layers, okay, this should be matching the layer of your background. So in this case, this would be the background, but in other cases, it may be the first name of the image that you've added to the photo, or just make sure whatever background you have for the photo is going to be your background. In this case, it'd be for the background picture. So then if you look at it right now, it's already changing the color, so it's creating more of like that orange yellowish tone that we were trying to get. And one thing you want to do is you want to lower the luminosity or luminance, so that's going to kind of like fade the colors a little bit. You don't want to fade it too much, but like if you have it all the way up here, it's a little too strong. So we're just going to fade it down a little bit, and I'm just going to color move the color intensity a little bit higher. So this is going to like create more of like a little subtle effect to your picture, but you can see the difference though between like there where it's more bluer, this one's more of a yellow orange tone. And then we're just gonna click OK to finalize that. And then also, if you want to like adjust it a little bit more, if it's a little too strong, you can fade it out that way too. So I mean, this looks pretty good right here, but you can see a difference though, like if you hide it and bring it back, it's gonna create more of a yellow orange tone to the picture. Alright, so that's going to be one way of changing the colors. And then another thing we're going to do is we're going to utilize the dodge and burn tool. So this is going to allow us to push your highlights and your shadows a little bit more to make it look, to kind of like make the people like pop out a little bit more. So you're going to click on the original layer that you were working on before. This is like your layer with the colors. And within that layer though, you want to make a duplicate layer. So I recommend making a duplicate layer just in case you mess up on it, which is which is possible. So we always have a duplicate as a backup. And what we're going to do is we're going to be using the dodge and burn tool. So dodge and burn tool is right here. Basically, what's going to happen is the dodge tool is it's going to allow it to bring the highlights in the picture. And then the burn tool is going to bring in the shadows of the picture. So, basically you're gonna be like kind of like painting the picture in a way, and this is gonna allow you to bring out those highlights and shadows a little bit more. So I'm actually just gonna undo this. And again, you can kind of control like how much the dodge and burn works. I think 50 is by default. You can leave it at mid-tones. So, this looks pretty good. Just make sure you're using a fuzzy brush though as you're working. So I'm just gonna use this fuzzy brush. I'm gonna bring out these highlights a little bit more. And again, you want to use like the bracket keys to adjust your size. This is just to bring out the highlights a little bit more. But you don't want to like overdo it, but just have it in like, some nice subtle places. And just to like kind of like bring out the picture more alive. And again, as I mentioned it before, like, if you overdo it, it's kind of hard to like fix it, but you can always go back and if you mess up on it, you can always delete this layer and start over again. You want to use it sparingly, but not like to the point where it's like overbearing. So that's actually, let me do a little bit on the hair. So if you look at it though, it's not really affecting the picture. It's just only bringing out like the highlights a little bit more. And then the burn tool. So the burn tool is going to bring the shadows. So again, I'm just going to use it very sparingly in some parts. Again, this is going to just bring the shadows out a little bit more in the photograph. Like, if you look at the difference though, like, now the image is like coming more alive, it's popping out. And then after you're done with all of that, we have like a lot of different layers that we have open right now. So after that, what I would do is, I would just highlight all of the layers. So you can hold the Shift key and just click on all those layers. And if you press Command G, as in game, that'll group it all in one layer. So that way it's, whatever you need is in that one group. And you can even rename it, the group too. You can call it girl. I'll rename it too. Another way you can, make the groups too is, let me undo that. You can also create your groups this way as well. You just click on the group tab here, and you can just drag those layers in that one group. And that's like another way you can add it there too. Alright.